Welcome back to my playthrough of the LOTY2024 Contest levels, and we will be covering my levels, which were nominated for this contest. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe all but one of them was nominated by Mobiethian. And if that's the case, then I thank Mobiethian very much. Yeah, he's a very good friend of mine. On the Lemmings Forums, and we've been in contact via email for pretty much ever since we first met. So he had a question about Neolimics. I answered his call, and we first corresponded through forums PMs, but then we later switched to email, which we've been doing since then. Um, because for some very strange reason, PMs have been glitching out on him, and so we've been just corresponding through email, which has worked a lot better for him, and we haven't really had too much problems with that. So, we've been doing that for like pretty much over a year now, I think. So, like, wow, I can't even believe it's been that long already. But like I said, I thank him very much for nominating my levels, and it's quite an honor to have levels nominated again for another LOTY, and I do believe this is the third one, I want to say. Third LOTY in which I've had levels nominated. Yeah. So it's really like surprising to me that it's already been that long. Yeah. That I've been like participating in all these LDCs and stuff and having levels nominated. But I do have a level pack that's currently in progress. Yeah, I haven't made too much progress with it yet, but hopefully I will. Get back into level making for that pack pretty soon. But it just depends on like my will and motivation, and also just me opening up the editor and just putting something together. Especially as I've been have some low ideas since. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. Yeah, I've already diverted too much from the main focus here. kaywhyn, all your skills are belong to us. So yes, this was from LTC number 31, I believe. Well, either 31 or 30. Yeah, I can't quite remember now. It might have been 31. It might have been 30. But anyway, here's my intended solution. Here this level was inspired by a level from the first rank of Lemming Bites by Wafflem. I decided to make a level inspired by one of those levels from that pack, and this was the result. Because the level in question is called Be Organized, and I figured it can work pretty well with the new objects and stuff that were introduced in Neolimics 12.13, and so this was what I came up with. So pretty much just neutral hatches in which they need to go through the skill adders and stuff, while also the skill removers kind of act as traps as well. But anyway, turn it around. Well, actually platform and then mine here, in order to release the first group of neutrals here, who will get the climber skill, who will be led to this exit over here. So they all get their skills removed, and so once we drop down, we need to go ahead and block, so that they can all exit, the neutrals that is, and then we release them, and then jump over the gaps, and work our way back. And because there are an infinite amount of walkers, jumpers, and blockers, fiddliness will vary. But I didn't want to punish the player, if they were being too wasteful. So therefore, I decided to give an infinite amount of these three skills here. So anyway, jump over the gap here, and then bind to release this second group of neutrals, who will get the swimmer and also the climber skills. Okay, bash on through, and then jump across the gap, and then we will block on the other side to turn the neutrals, because if we don't do that, then they're just going to swim across over here, make their way over here, and then eventually into this trap. Which we cannot afford. Since we need to save everybody. And then after all the neutrals are turned, then I go ahead and turn the, or rather release the normal Lemming and also have him turn around. Okay, so neutrals get their skills removed. And then I go ahead and block here in order to cluster the neutrals better here. Yeah, and now the normal Lemming loses his skills. Okay, and interrupt the basher mid-stroke to make this nice staircase. Okay, and then I block at the very far end here. Oh, well, not yet. Turn him around and then block to turn all the other neutrals to the right. And then I quickly release the normal Lemming and then jump several times in order to get a head start. Yeah, then I bash and then interrupt mid-stroke. Yeah, in order to create another staircase, and then block to turn the neutrals towards this exit. Okay, and then jump, and then bash. Yeah, if you played this level before, you will have noticed that there's a bit of a change here in that, like, yeah, the terrain got replaced with steel because, yeah, then it wouldn't be necessary to basically send any of these neutrals toward this exit. So, yeah. So this is pretty much like a background fix that I honestly am surprised that no one ever caught, and I myself just caught it only like at a much later time. So anyway, turn around and then jump, and then jump to get up here, and then jump again, and then jump again, turn around, jump it, then get the climber skill, and then jump, turn around, jump over these gaps, okay, and then mine, and now we get the glider skill. Yeah, turn around and then jump a few times to get a head start of the neutrals. Okay, and then we block to turn the neutrals here, who will just glide to get into this area. Yeah, where they will get the glider skills removed. Okay, and then fence. Okay, and then the neutrals will be able to exit. So here we need to turn the normal Lemming around. Yep, and then jump over the gap. And now we need to lead the normal Lemming into these 3 skill adders, so that he is a glider, swimmer, and climber. Because he'll be using this exit over here, since all these exits have the limits used up. Okay, turn around and jump, and then finally turn one more time, and that's it. Now he can just swim, jump, climb, and then finally glide to get to this exit over here. So yeah, pretty much inspired by the Lemming Bytes first rank level, Be Organized, and then also some of the action-based levels from Amani's Lemmings Uncharted pack. Yeah, which gave them an infinite amount of those movement / parkour skills. So should be a pretty fun level, and while also being somewhat of a difficult or challenging level with limited skills. kaywhyn 2, it's a wet world. So this was just a rule where you needed to make one side steel and then the other side terrain. Yeah, and also added the animation of the falling rain here. So yeah, jump with Lemming from the left entrance, or you can do it from the right entrance. That doesn't really matter. But what matters is that you get someone on this block here and then block. Yeah, so this has a blocker view on both sides, so that none of the Lemmings are able to slip by and splat. Okay, and then we send up a climber to the right. Okay, fill over the gap, of course, or the water. Okay, and then we're going to make a platform over here. It's a bit precise here, but you have to make sure that the builder turns around. Yeah, because if he climbs up, then you won't have enough time to do the mining here before anyone slips by and drowns in the water. Okay, and then mine with the climber. Yeah, and then after a bit, then you can go ahead and release the blocker and therefore release the crowd. Yeah, so what's important here is that you just block at the right time. Yeah, in order to turn the miner, so that he can mine towards the exit. Yep, and that's it. So I'm pretty proud of this level for the fact that this level has never ever been background even once. So it might have taken me like more than 10 contests, but more than 10? And around there. Yeah, around 10. But I finally managed to make a level where it has never been backwards even once. So yeah, quite an accomplishment, I must say. KY entries. No way! Yeah, this was the rule where you needed to make a level, yeah, in the tiles that you had never made a level in before. And yeah, surprisingly, yeah, in about 10 contests, LTCs, I've never ever made a level in the Oh No snow set. So yeah, I had two solutions here, but they pretty much differ in how you can do the start. Yeah, and the track here, yeah, it's from the game Gunbound, from an online game called Gunbound. So after one lemming, I go ahead and max out the release rate for 2 lemmings, and then drop it back down to the default. And then after one more lemming, yeah, then I max out the release rate again. Okay, so build with this lone lemming here. Okay, and then dig with the first lemming. Yeah, this is a safe fall for the digger, but then it's a spot fall for the rest of them. So you need to build immediately when you land. Okay, and he gets over the gap just in time, yeah, before anyone slips by and falls into the water and drowns. Okay, so we get a sacrifice to the icicle trap here, and then we need to go ahead and build to get up here. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and block here, so that no one is able to go back out to the right. Yeah, but everyone else is still able to slip by the blocker field. Okay, and then we get one more sacrifice, and then we will block with the third lemming. Yeah, so crowd contain, and then we also send another lemming on ahead, so therefore we have 2. And this blocker was placed in such a way so that, yeah, these lemmings from this side cannot go back into the icicle trap. So now we need to go ahead and send one climber. Okay, dig down the pillar. Oh yes, and then after a bit, then I go ahead and send the other one as a climber. Yeah, at the time, so that this fall is not fatal. Okay, then we need to go ahead and bash to get onto the other side, and also below the ice steam blower traps. Okay, and then build to get up here. Okay, now this lemming that's down here will come back and do the rest of the work here. Okay, now we need to go ahead and build to get over the exit here. Okay, and then finally we mine. Yeah, and he would use the staircase to continue. The climber in the meantime will exit. So not only this one, but also uses this staircase to keep on going as well, to come back to the crowd. And yeah, the magic here, yeah, release the blocker and also remove the trap trigger so that no one dies to the icicle trap. But he also releases the other blocker over here as well. So this is pretty much possible if you put the blockers as close together as you can, as is possible in Neo Lemmings. So yeah, this is one solution. And another solution that I have here, yeah, I even labeled it second solution. Again, it just differs in how you do the start. So yeah, rather than max out the release rate again after 4 lemmings, yeah, I just keep it at the default for quite some time, I think. But yeah, other than that, yeah, the details are pretty much the same here at the start. Yeah, now I'll go ahead and max out the release rate after quite some time. But again, it doesn't really matter when you do it after the first 4. Okay, and then I block here with the lemming that slips by the builder. Yes. And this is just perfect timing. Yeah, these guys are actually close enough so that only one dies to the icicle trap. Yeah, like so. And the next one arrives, yeah, just before the builder goes back into the icicle trap here. Yep, and then the rest of the solution is pretty much the same as you have seen before. Yeah, and also, you can also vary the digger assignment here as well. Yeah, just make sure when you finally have the digger build, yeah, that's not a spot fall. Okay, build over the exit, and then finally use the miner. Yeah, and the staircase will help it continue. So yeah, other than the people who have successfully solved this level during the playing phase of the LTC that this level comes from, yeah, I do believe this is number 30. Yeah, for Route 1. I've had two other people play test this one, and they were not able to solve it. Yeah, one of them is Simon, the creator of Lex. And then another one is a really good friend of mine. Yeah, who private streamed this level of mine, and after 2 hours was not able to solve it, I think. And then while Simon took about half the amount of time, 1 hour, but still couldn't solve it. And yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised this manages to give people trouble. But I have seen their videos, and yeah, the part that really seems to trip people up the most is the very start. Yeah, they don't do the start correctly, and so therefore that leads into problems later on in which you don't have the necessary skills to get the level completed. And so because of their struggles, yeah, the feedback I was given that I should up rank this level to the 4th rank of Lemmings Memories. Yeah, my upcoming level pack. Yeah, because I originally had this in the 3rd rank. But yeah, again, yeah, the feedback I've received is that this level is much harder than I originally had it placed. So therefore, yeah, I up-ranked it to the next ranking for my pack. So yeah, very useful feedback there. But yeah, maybe I shouldn't be too surprised here because yeah, it does use a couple of nasty tricks up its sleeve. So yeah, and they're not very easy to see. But both the people who have not been able to solve this have correctly guessed that you will need the builder miner combo. Yeah, so the question is just how to achieve it. Yeah, that they have not yet figured out. But other than that, yeah, very nice attempts by them though. Yeah, they got as far as they could, yeah, in a reasonable amount of time. But yeah, they just need to like work some things out. Yeah, some of the nuances out. Yeah, in order to make it a solve. And then finally, kaywhyn4 to the CPU terminal. Yeah, I didn't really have like too much of a good level idea here, and so yeah, this was pretty much what I was able to draw together. And the rule set here was, you had 2 options. Yeah, either use a custom tile set and then the 8 classic skills, or one of the official tile sets. Yeah, from the Lemmings games, and the Lemmings skills only. Yeah, obviously I chose the custom tile set and then classic 8 skills. Yeah, here I have 3 different solutions. I will probably show off all 3 of them. So yeah, 4 of everything in the classic 8 skills. And to my knowledge, there's at least 5 different ways of solving this level. Yeah, I offer 3 of them. And then I saw 2 other ways, yeah. One from Imani and then another one from Icho, I believe. Okay, so I start with the bottom left here, yeah, and then after a while I max out the release rate. Okay, build here. And then block to turn the builder. Yeah, and then I do the same thing on the other side, on the with the other bottom corner. And then here you can just build twice, yeah, in order to get up. And then send up a climber on the left side here, and then same thing on the right side. Yeah, have the climbers pass each other, and then dig down the one-way wall. Okay, and then after 6 strokes, yeah, 6 pixels, yeah, then I go ahead and bash. Yeah, and then I mine it at the correct spot here, and making sure that we don't make a hole, yeah, and make the checkerboard mechanic here. Okay, and then dig here, yeah, 4 strokes, and then mine, and then dig again, and then mine. And this is enough to get the crowd up here. And then on the other side, just use the builder. So yeah, this is one solution. And then another solution here, yeah, labeled it as well, 2nd and 3rd. So yeah, I pretty much start the bottoms at the same time here. So this time I just use both builders, so yeah, to get up. And set up a climber, yeah, well, 1 climber on each side. Have them pass each other, yeah, dig down again. Okay, bash on through after 6 pixels. Yeah, and then mine. Yeah, and then I use all the diggers and the miners on the right side. And so as a result, I would need to use a bomber, yeah, for the left side. And then finally, for a third solution here. Yeah, max out the release rate after some time. Go ahead and build, and then block. Yeah, and then a bash on the other side. So this seems to be similar to the first solution that I already showed off. Yeah, but I already started the mining on the top right entrance. Okay, have the climbers pass through each other again. Yeah, and then build. Okay, bash on through. Yeah, when you're level with the steel and the this part of the terrain here. This one's still 6 pixels. Yeah, then just use up the remaining diggers and miners to get the bottom left out. Yep, and that's it. So yeah, like I said, I offered 3 different ways in which you can solve this, but a mining initial delivered a different way, so therefore there's at least 5 different ways to solve the low. And again, I'm actually pretty surprised to hear that people thought this was a pretty difficult and tricky low. Yeah, which really surprises me given the fact that you have full rare everything. But I guess it's one of those challenging except everything lows. So I guess it came about by accident, but well, I just left it as an open-ended low since I didn't really have a good like level idea. Just like a computer exit that they need to the Lemmings need to get to, so therefore they need to get to the CPU terminal. Yeah, the CPU room. Yeah, in any way they can. So I just slapped on an X of everything and yeah, just made it 4. Alrighty, so with my levels covered, that brings us to the next rank, which is my good friend Mobiethian. So I will cover his levels the next time, and I do believe he has the second most levels nominated for LOTY2024 after PU. Yeah, so PU will be the largest rank. Yeah, with the most number of levels individually, but the mixed rank will still be the biggest, I think. Yeah, with more levels than PUs. If I'm not mistaken. So anyway, we'll make a stop here. So tune in next time for when I cover Mobiethian's levels. So with this, hope you enjoyed seeing the intended solutions to my levels that were nominated, and I'll see you all next time.